Tonight on the Friday Night Football Season Kickoff Special.
How will the Detroit Lions attack that tough schedule? We'll set the bar for the over-unders.
And what will Jim Harbaugh do next?
Not striving to be creating any buzz.
We'll debate his knack for making headlines.
Plus Michigan State's chances at a national title and maybe even a Heisman Trophy.
And tonight, for the first time, CMU football coach John Bonamago sits down and talks about his cancer diagnosis.
The first thing that pops in your mind is kind of like, are you kidding me? No, there's no way.
And of course, we talk high school football here in mid-Michigan, how their team mottos could mean success.
Plus, a Hall of Famer, Greg Ganfield, makes his debut live in studio as we kick off the 2015 football season right now.
This is the NBC 25 Fox 66 Friday Night Football Season Kickoff Special. Sponsored by American Sewer Cleaners and Angelo's Coney Island. Now let's join your hosts, Tom Eschen and Cory Coppock.
Good evening, everybody. I am Tom Eschen.
And I am Cory Coppock.
Yeah, and welcome to the Friday Night Football Season Kickoff Special. Of course, we'll be joining you on Friday nights during the season, but tonight, it's really where we begin, the kickoff.
That's right. Plenty to come this next half hour, so let's just get started right away. We'll kick it off with our first down, beginning with the high school ranks.
Yeah, Cory, it's something I know I'm looking forward to. Friday nights here at mid-Michigan during the fall, games all over the place. Doesn't get much better than that. A lot of football.
Favorite time of the year. The start of the season is actually just a week away, and high school football teams have a lot of traditions, but one of the best things they do for themselves every year is to come up with a team slogan. We take a look at how some of our local teams are using that yearly slogan to establish some unity within the ranks. In life, it helps to have a motto, something you can look to when you lose focus and something a team can rally around as a common goal. High school football teams come up with a new motto every year, and it's usually specific to the team's situation. At Frankenmuth, for example, the Eagles are obsessed with the number 4.
To finish all 4, and what that stands for is finish fourth quarter, fourth down, finish the 4th TVC championship, and forever.
At Midland Dow, the motto doesn't change at all, no matter what happens the previous year.
We just want to do the right thing whenever we can, whether it's on the field, off the field, always make the right decision for the football team, represent Dow High in the right way.
At Holly, the Broncos are coming off a winless 2014, so they're looking for some cohesiveness.
See, we go from family because chemistry is really important in this game, and we have a really big senior class this year, and we've all been playing together since probably 6th, 7th grade, so that helps a lot.
And at Kersley, the Hornets want to be more aggressive with their slogan, Together We Swarm.
It's a great defensive motto for us. Everyone swarm to the ball, get there, all 11 of us. And I think it's crucial for our team, for our success. Together, we win, lose, we're family.
Mottos, themes, credos, sayings, and slogans all serve their purpose, but starting August 27th, it's the results that those mottos produce that determine who ends up in the postseason and who ends up watching it at home, trying to come up with a better slogan for next year. It's going to be cool to see how they implement those slogans throughout the year, and it kind of seems like the usual suspects will stand out this year.
Yeah, and from seeing, looking at some of the rosters too, at Mount Pleasant, I like their chances to improve. They have at least 3 Division I prospects. Haven't really played a game yet, but I think Lapeer probably their biggest challenge personally in that Saginaw Valley Red.
Absolutely, Lapeer, big talented squad. But over the Tri-Valley West, the Ithaca Yellow Jackets will have something to prove. That long winning streak snapped, and it's given them a little extra motivation. It wouldn't surprise me at all to see the Yellow Jackets go into the playoffs unbeaten once again.
We're not going to change anything. We'd be fools to change things now, right? And we didn't push the panic button just because we got beat, that's for sure. So we're gonna keep things the same, and we're gonna probably do the same things offensively and defensively. We do what we do. Right. So we're probably not going to change a great deal.
While we're on the topic of winners, we now bring in someone who knows an awful lot about it, a Michigan High School Coaches Association Hall of Famer, Greg Ganfield, taking over the reins as the head football coach at Clio this year. He joins us live in studio with Tom Eschen.
Hey, thank you very much, Cory. Coach Ganfield joins us now. And, Coach, you've been in this for 4 decades. You're a Hall of Famer. What is your motivation at this point to come to the school here just in Clio?
Well, I enjoy challenges. I enjoy competition. And I've done this my entire life. I've either been coaching football in the fall or baseball in the spring, and I haven't really developed any hobbies. Right. I can't cut a straight line or hunt or fish or anything like that. I've never had time. So it's a combination of things. But I just enjoy working with young men and trying to help them become the best that they can be.
And you have this knack for coming into a program and rebuilding it even. What do you say on day one to kind of start that process of building a program back up to where you think it needs to be?
Well, what I've found is when you go into a situation that hasn't been successful, the first thing you need to do is try to analyze what the problem is. And it varies from location to location.
Right.
You know, it's not the same in every situation. So, you know, the first thing we do is try to identify the problem and then do everything we can to work to correct that.
What stood out about these kids so far you've been working with these past few weeks and months here at Clio?
I have a strong nucleus of kids that I think are very dedicated and very committed to trying to become better and be winners. I'm a little bit concerned, maybe not concerned is the right word, but skeptical about some of the others.
Right.
Are we going to have enough to do this?
Yeah,
yes.
We'll see what happens. Looking forward to seeing you on the sidelines this fall. Let's go back over to Cory at the desk.
Coach, thank you for joining us. There was actually a strong candidate for next year at Clio for one of our dark horse picks, but instead I ended up going with Michigan Lutheran Seminary. The Cardinals had their best season in decades last year when they finished just 2 wins away from a state title, but graduation decimated this team to the tune of 12 starters last season. This year they'll have to rely upon guys like Andrew Schroeder and Casey Williams to carry the load, but they don't mind.
I don't have like the sophomore name anymore. I'm junior, supposed to be playing up here, so I guess I have to put a lot more on my shoulders, which I expect, but I just got to play how I play.
He's a great athlete, so we'll see how he plays this year. I know.
Yeah.
Well, I think Brandon, too, in that Flint Metro League might make some waves and get those top teams Flushing, Fenton a run this year. We'll really see what happens, won't we, as we kind of develop here for
Yes, we will. New Lothrop is also a team I have my eye on. They went deep into the state tournament last year, and that's it for our first down.
Yeah, not bad, Cory. After the break, we'll slow it down. We see how the Northwood football team is preparing for their season just weeks after their football coach, Pat Rima, passed away. But first, we go to Central Michigan.
It has been a battle. I don't think that coming home to CMU and coaching my first game, I don't think that there's anything that could make it more special for me.
For the first time, John Bonamego sits down to open up his cancer diagnosis. That and more after the break right here on the Friday Night Football Season Kickoff Special.
You're watching the Friday Night Football Season Kickoff.
Welcome back, everybody. Central Michigan University hired one of their own back in February, bringing in alum John Bonamego, who showed his excitement from his opening press conference, a life-changing moment. Little did he know that his life would change even more back in June when he was diagnosed with tonsil cancer. So in our second down tonight, for the first time, Bonamego sits down to open up about the diagnosis. You had that press conference, you exude all this passion for this school and for this team. Just tell me a little bit more about where that comes from and why you love this place so much.
For me, this is more than just a job. This is something that's it's highly personal. I played here. Much of who I am today, in terms of not just my coaching philosophy, but who I've become as a person, as an individual, as a man, was really a lot of that was based on foundation, or that was the foundation of a lot of things that I learned here as a player, playing under Coach Dramedy and his staff.
Yeah, I guess sometimes when people hear that news, it strikes a chord, or it changes them a little bit. What have you learned about yourself over these past few months and enduring this on a day-to-day basis?
Well, I think that obviously you get that diagnosis. It's the first thing you pops in your mind is kind of like, are you kidding me? No, there's no way. There's got to be a mistake. And then you learn quickly that, you can't really be the one to dictate the terms. I'm like, all right, well, I'll get my treatment over here. And they're like, no, you're going to have to come over here. And I'm like, all right, well, tell me what time, and I gotta be there, so.
And you think about the first game, like a home game against someone like Oklahoma State. I mean, I'm sure it would have been a thrill just to be there in the sideline, but now going through all this, does that give it a little bit more? You mentioned this is not something that you ever thought was terminal, but at the same time, it's been a battle that you really didn't anticipate.
It has been a battle. I don't think that coming home to CMU and coaching my first game, I don't think that there's anything that could make it more special for me. I think it definitely, for me, again, this has been an individual fight. It's something I wouldn't wish on anybody. I didn't certainly wish I hadn't had to go through it.
And you're such a passionate guy. You know, I mean, the fans probably have already enjoyed seeing you, you know, from that first opening. Everyone could see it, you know, from just seeing by looking at your face. You know, how will they expect? What do you think they're going to expect from you this season? Just on the sidelines, just whatever.
Well, hopefully wins.
Yeah, right.
You know, I know they expect that. We expect that, and you know, just know that what you see is what you see is what you get. It's real, and you know, I think that when we see our team play, that will show. That'll be the most important thing. You know, we're going to see a team that's energetic, passionate, that plays hard, plays for one another, and that will never ever quit.
Yeah, because that's something that you're doing too, right?
That's right.
And it's amazing because he hasn't missed a day of football since they started 2 weeks ago. The best part is today was his last day of treatment. So congratulations to the coach. Looking forward to seeing him recover on the sideline too this year with CMU. Cory.
And looking forward to seeing what he can do with that team as well. Unfortunately, Mount Pleasant not the only football community to get some shocking news over the offseason. Northwood University lost their longtime head coach and former athletic director Pat Riepma to cancer back in July. The team will take the field without him this year, but the culture he created is alive and well.
Coach Riepma was like a father to me and a mentor to me. Played for him, coached with him, and just no one really wants to take over in these type of circumstances, but I believe he definitely prepared me for such a time as this.
Northwood's interim head coach Leonard Haynes is conflicted. On the one hand, it's always been a dream of his to be a head coach, but no one ever wants to be thrust into these circumstances. On the other hand, no one is better prepared to continue the teachings and traditions Coach Riepma laid down years ago.
How to treat people, how to have an impact on people's lives. Those are some of the things he's taught me, and now some things I have to learn on my own. So we'll figure that out as we go.
Haynes thought it would be foolish to change a system that has brought so much success to Northwood, and sticking with the same systems and routines has made a difficult transition a little easier for the players.
Like I said, he's pretty much a replicate of Coach Riepma. Everything that he would preach, he preaches as well. They're both big favors and big man of God and all that, so it's been a pretty easy transition for us, even though it's a tough circumstance.
At the end of your life, it's the legacy you leave behind that defines you. And as these players and coaches prepare for not just this season, but the rest of their lives, that legacy is alive and well at Northwood. I think Coach Riepma would want us to focus more on the season that's ahead for Northwood. Fans will get their first opportunity to look at the team in 2015 on September 5th when they host Northern Michigan in the season opener.
Yeah, and their rival, Saginaw Valley State, also preparing for the season with preseason camp. Here's a look at their schedule. They finished just 2-9 last year after finishing 9-3 the year before. Hoping to bounce back. They had that big date with Northwood on October 24th. That game at Northwood this year. Well, Michigan and Michigan State, they've made headlines on the national scene this offseason, but for very different reasons. We'll debate those topics after the break, but first, something to think about during the break. Before John Bonamego and Jim Harbaugh, who were the last alumni to coach at CMU and UNM, do some thinking now. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone, to the Friday Night Football Season Kickoff Special. Well, I hope you didn't cheat. But here's our trivia question, Cory. Before John Bonamego and Jim Harbaugh, who were the last alumni to coach at CMU and U of M? The answer, Cory?
For CMU, you have to go all the way back to the 60s and Bill Kelly, and you also have to go back a ways for U of M when Bump Elliott was the head coach from 1959 to 1968.
New blood.
It's time for our third down. Now we're going to have a little bit of fun, too. It's time to talk Michigan and Michigan State in no particular order, of course.
Yeah, both are so intriguing. Michigan State, they've been knocking on the national championship door for a few years now. Yep. Can they win one?
But right now, everybody's talking about Jim Harbaugh in Ann Arbor.
So let's start there. This is a field goal or Hail Mary, Cory? Listen to Harbaugh.
Not striving to be creating any buzz, just striving to coach the football team. Not trying to be popular or anything. Anyone who's popular is bound to be disliked, so just coaching football.
Okay, so Hail Mary means what he's saying is far-fetched. The field goal means it's a safe bet. He's telling the truth. Which one?
It's a little bit of both because he's kind of a master manipulator. He always wants to keep you on edge when you're speaking with him, whether you're a player, a coach, or a member of the media. So
right. I don't know. I think it's a field goal. I think he's telling the truth. I just think he doesn't. He's a different kind of guy, Cory, and that's just the way he presents himself, and that's the way he is.
He frightens me.
We'll see how it affects Michigan. So now we go to Michigan State. With Michigan State quarterback Connor Cook, he's being considered a Heisman candidate. Field goal or Hail Mary?
He has the look, but let's hear from him first.
That's that's the last thing I'm thinking about heading into the season. If you win, everything else will take care of itself, like I've said before. But it's just nice being, in the conversation for an award like that.
So what do you think? Field goal or Hail Mary, Tom?
Him winning the Heisman, that being the last thing on his mind. I think it's on his mind. I'm going to say he's a Hail Mary for the Heisman, but that. And also what he just said right there.
Right.
That's a Hail Mary that I think he's thinking about a little bit.
I think it's a Hail Mary as well. I think he'll be in Heisman contention, but when you look at some of the better athletes out there, and the system itself doesn't really lend itself to massive numbers for quarterbacks at Michigan State. So he'll be mentioned, but he's not going to win it.
We'll see what happens. It should
go.
be fun to watch. Oregon will be a big game for them. Now, will they be a national champion? Hail Mary or field goal? That's our next topic.
We've heard from Connor Cook, so now let's listen to Mark D'Antonio, see what he has to say.
Our focus right now is to continue to reach higher, with what's happened these last couple years, or really the last 5 years. We've been able to set our program, I think, on the right track. What we do from here now, though, is new ground, because every year is different.
I think that's a field goal. I think Coach D'Antonio is one of these guys who's always hedging his bet, always taking it one step at a time. And I think he means that conservative approach.
New ground. That's the thing that sticks out to me.
Yep.
We might see that later. Who knows? But I'm going with field goal. That's pretty safe.
All right.
They'll be in the mix.
Yeah.
We'll find out on September 12th when they play Oregon, as I mentioned earlier. That's it for third down. It's fourth down. Crunch time after the break. All about the Detroit Lions. What's their season look like? We'll let you know. Coming up next. Welcome to the Friday Night Football Season Preview Kickoff Special. We transition now to a different part of the area.
Right.
We've got a big old debate going on here. The Detroit Lions for our fourth down segment. We're going to see if we can convert, maybe get another segment at the end of the show. We'll see what happens, Corey. So we're going to do some over-unders for the Lions this season. See even a couple preseason games so far. So first we'll start with wins. 8.5 is where I'm setting the over-under, Corey. Over or under?
It's probably actually really accurate, but I'm going to go under just because the schedule is so tough this year. They played a last-place schedule last year. This year they're going to play a first-place schedule that includes Denver and Seattle and Arizona, and it just looks like an 8-win team to me.
I know the schedule's tough, but maybe last year was a little stepping stone for them in the playoffs and whatnot. There was some controversial calls at the end of that game, and Matthew Stafford will evolve too as a quarterback, and they've got more of a running game with Amir Abdullah this year, Corey.
And Laken Tomlinson.
Exactly. They have a little bit more of a beefed-up offensive line, but then we go to the defensive line.
Right.
So we're going to talk about the defense now. No Ndamukong Suh. Nick Fairley's gone. They were the top 5 in many categories, top 3 in many categories last year. So top 5. 5 is my number. Will they finish above 5 or below 5 in the top?
I think they're going to finish
defensive rankings.
Yeah, somewhere between 6 and 10 is probably a little bit more accurate. The loss of Ndamukong Suh down to Haloti Ngata is going to make a difference. I think both safeties kind of played over their heads last year. So I think 6 to 10 is probably a little more accurate.
I will also go with the over, Corey. I'm going to say Haloti Ngata's health is a little sketchy. I'm not sure.
A little sketchy. Yeah, he's not quite the player that Suh is.
We'll see what happens. Well, I think we converted that fourth down conversion, right? So
I concur.
We can have one more segment of the show. What was said over the show will have an impact this season. Coming up next in the Friday Night Football Season Kickoff Special.
This is the NBC 25 Fox 66 Friday Night Football Season Kickoff Special. Sponsored by American Sewer Cleaners and Angelo's Coney Island.
We are back. Just a few moments left here. We can see the end zone. It's first and goal, Corey.
Let's try not to pull a hammy on the way there.
Try. It's time for the quote of the show. Here's mine first.
What we do from here now, though, is new ground, because every year is different.
When Mark D'Antonio said they have new ground to cover, that was telling for me. A step forward could mean college football playoff appearance. That's new ground for the Spartans, so we'll see what happens there, Corey.
That will indeed make an impact, Tom, no doubt. Here's my quote that sticks out from today's program.
We're not going to change anything. We'd be fools to change things now, right? And we didn't push the panic button just because we got beat, that's for sure. So we're gonna keep things the same, and we're gonna probably do the same things offensively and defensively. We do what we do. Right. So we're probably not going to change a great deal.
The Yellow Jackets are looking like Mid-Michigan's best bet to get to Ford Field once again this year. Now they just have to execute, and they're going to be in good shape.
It sounds like the do what we do, Corey.
Exactly, and they only lost like 4 or 5 seniors from last year.
Right, and we heard that from Coach Ganfield too. He's a Hall of Famer. He's been to all these schools. He just, he kind of has his philosophies and his systems that he brings on to those young athletes, and we'll see what happens in Clio and Ithaca, kind of 2 different ends of the spectrum there.
There you go.
We'll probably have more sound bites to come later on this season, especially whenever Michigan ends its media blackout, and that's going to happen. But that's all for us for now.
Make sure to tune into our weekly Friday Night Football show starting September 4th.
It should be a fun season for Cory Coppock and the rest of the crew. I'm Tom Eschen. Have a great night.